Sylvester Stallone was kind enough. I was sitting in a really nice restaurant, Italian restaurant. It was sort of like a place people went, and I thought I wanted to feel good about myself and go in there and eat, and I could barely pay for the bowl of spaghetti I was eating, and I'm sitting there having my pasta and, alone, and I felt somebody looking at me or standing above me, and I looked over, and it was Sly Stallone.
Right.
And I went, "Oh, hey." He says, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "I'm good." He says,
Yes, you know.
You know, he says, I like to do a bad invitation.
Well, let's do
it. He says, "Hey, you want to go to work?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to go to work for the last 11 years." He says, "I'm doing this
breathing,
thing."
aren't I?
Yeah, I'm doing this thing, and I need somebody who looks like they can kick my ass. And I said, "No problem. Give me the work." And he went to bat for me, and then the producer called back, who was someone I didn't care for very much, and offered me like really an insulting amount of money, and I said no. Right. You know. So then 10 minutes later, he called me back, and he says, "Did they offer you an insulting amount of money?" And I said, "Yeah, but thank you anyway. I'm just let slide. Don't worry about it." He says, "Would you do it for such and such amount of money?" And I said, "Absolutely." Called me back 2 minutes later, and he says, "You're in."
Yeah.
I get up to Canada, where we're shooting Get Carter, and one of his assistants, I think it was a bodyguard or a training partner of his, pulled me aside and said, "You know, Sly, I don't want you to know this, but you know, so-and-so wouldn't pay you the money." And he says Sly took it out of his own pocket, and it was like, oh, you know, man, you know.